10 bans already in the game on either side, so 20 total. And now we have the Corki ban. So maybe things opening up just a tiny bit.
Okay, so Rumble ban comes through. Nocturne's open. Is the lot for these two teams. I see myself not having a good time as well. There you go.
You're gonna make it one day, slowly but surely. It's gonna happen.
Well, there's Nocturne. It was unbanned and it was B1.
But I think it's gonna be Jiejie's, unfortunately.
I've seen the rookie play this. Maybe TheShy would play this. TheShy would take this top lane.
True, honestly. The Renekton, though, locked in for NIP here. So maybe giving Shanji even more of those resources. But honestly, the fact that they took R1 Renekton, kind of mind-boggling, but Chad as hell.
Okay.
Renekton, Viego, good combinations.
Renekton, Viego. So this is Brawl, and Brawl early stocks on AD carries like Jinx, mid laners like Ahri just increased. If we get a reset, we can start to go very fast and we can start to win team fights quite significantly. So we should be looking at how well we can deny those picks as IG to begin with. Maybe they take the Jinx, maybe they decide let's pick something that we know is going to do really well versus the Jinx. So they've got a couple of options there. The Aurora, the Nocturne, already two really good picks for trying to take down immobile AD carries anyway.
Yeah, that's very true. I really like the spacing it can provide. It's not that Orianna, but it's something. Also, rookies, Aurora is actually just disgustingly dirty. He just finds really good angles. It's not the same anymore where it actually blocks them in like it was the last few times we really see him pop off on it. But we'll see if it works this time. The Gala Jinx comes through, as well as the Doinb Ryze. It's a classic pick from Doinb.
We're throwing it back a little bit. This is quite nice to get to see some of these homages to you know, sort of legacy picks for these players. Doinb has had an Akali game that was a little bit shaky. We had a absolute pop-off tank Jace game, and now we get to see the Ryze taken into, we're presuming, the Aurora as a good answer to that. A champion in the mid lane for rookie that is exceptionally squishy, but equally very, very mobile. Has stealth, has a dash, can hop over one side of her ulti to the other, so definitely a lot of escape tools. But Ryze, presses E, presses W, you get rooted for a couple seconds.
At least you get the lockdown there, but you also get some of the cool plays that you can do with the Realm Warp. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and you'll be playing mostly around Aki because the reset combination has to be there if the NIP want to have success in any of these team fights. We're getting in the second phase, though. We get the Thresh ban by NIP. We get the Neela ban there by IG, so focusing that bot lane a little bit more.
And with those bot lane focuses, you're expecting IG to sort of pinch out that support pool, I would think, as well, once these AD carries have been... I'm very confused by the Nyla ban, but they know something that I don't, and that's absolutely fine. I would expect that to be the case. But here, we see NIP have got first pick of supports, so if there's anything that they really want to take off the board, this is their time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if there's anything that's going to absolutely bother them, okay, it's going to be ppgod's Blitzcrank. It's a classic for him. He's destroyed a lot of games on it, so glad to see them go for a 2v2 lane that could be a little bit of a detriment to them. The Rakan is the lock-in, so counter pick for Leave?
This suggests, I mean, this suggests a little bit that they're going for an enchanter with the Blitzcrank ban. That they, you know, if they want to make sure that Gala is truly the hyper carry, you can give that Lulu, yep, gets locked in. Blitzcrank, typically the counter to these Lulu-style champions, the enchanters, and now you really need some engage in that top lane. TheShy has got to go for something that's going to go forward. Wouldn't even mind something like a Sion to just like be a front line in that in that threat, but something that needs to go diving with Jiejie as well, right? We've got this Nocturne who currently is going solo into the backline. There needs to be somebody there.
I guess you can have the Aurora, like, kind of goes backwards, but it's a lot harder to get that set up in that case. It's just going to be the TheShy Jax locked in. That's awesome to see. A little bit of split pushing pressure there, but more so just giving him the stick, literally, to play the game. It is the Kaisa locked in, though, for Lee.
Okay, so again, sort of a denial pick for some point later on in the series as we get to see the Kaisa taken away from Gala, but with this all-in capability down on the bot side, Rakan and the Kaisa a lethal enough 2 versus 2. And if you get a little bit of a reset as well for Arky, then that looks pretty good as well. Really good dive threat for NIP all told. They're kind of leaving Doinb out to dry in the backline, but again, with Realm Warp, he can probably join if he so desires. But you've got Shanji, Arky, Leave and ppgod that are all quite adept and should be looking to isolate Gala. It is a protect the Jinx composition versus a kill the Jinx composition, and execution is going to be paramount.
It's so important here, and hey, the names can mean all you want, but it's all about the execution of the actual compositions, and when you draft something like this, you have to be able to protect Gala. But I also love that they're actually giving Gala a little bit more onus in this one as well. I feel like he's been playing a little bit passenger these last couple of games as well, Leave taking advantage of that 2v2 in a lot of cases. So giving him a moment to step up to the pedestal, and why they picked him up on this superstar roster.
Yeah, and I think that this game is going to be really indicative for the series as well. So far, we've seen that bot lane be very NIP favoured. This is even more of an extension on that. The fact that the Rakan can engage onto an enchanter, they should be looking to try and punish. The issue then becomes, well, Jinx versus the Kaisa. The Jinx actually has quite a considerable range advantage versus the Kaisa through the early levels, which puts even more pressure onto ppgod to set up that engage and to close that gap for his AD carry. I think this is going to be a very volatile bot lane if they choose for it to be, quite flippy, and those junglers pathing down to that bot side should be looking to make an impact.
The bot lane for NIP is 2 for 2 with first blood so far, 1 for each of them. See if they continue that streak going at all. But you hear the Jiejie, it means we're on to the rift here for game number 3 between IG and NIP. You hear those IG? I mean, the NIP ones gave them a run for their money, but IG, they just got something special.
Yeah, they've got that fan support, haven't they? The sort of national support where wherever they go really in China, we can expect to see them get that reputation and get that respect as well that the IG roster at this stage kind of deserves. They did away with their developmental style of rosters that they've been building on for the past few years and decided that it's time to splash. It's time to go super team, and 2025 is the year that IG fans and the organization should expect to see very great things. Uncertain of the quite why we've got this on the top side for IG. It's a bit of a 4-man stack. Moves up into this top lane. Now this is completely spotted. An early ward put down has seen all of this, and it gives Aki that time to move into the bot side, collect his own camps, and Gala and Meiko got to face check this bush. They don't know who's going to be in there, what's lurking around which corner, and it's Shanji that's just waiting as TheShy now forced away from ppgod. And love this little adaptation as well from Leave as he starts W level 1 knowing that he's actually not going to get in range to be able to do anything. Shanji takes slice, takes dice, hoping to have been able to sponge the experience on the way through the wave. Wasn't quite able to do so. Loses out on 1 melee creep, but should be able to pick up those other 2 as they come. And I think that with the same thing happening down on the spot side as well, TheShy dodging out on that Void Seeker going to be very important.
I think the chaos in the early game is absolutely the recipe that we were looking for a little bit, but it's still just going to be the lane swap shenanigans. I know Emily Rand would be so extremely happy to be here and watch this, and has been watching all the games, because it's a world where we've literally seen this every single game of the LPL so far.
Yeah, so somebody does something different, and it looks like IG here, the ones moving their way into the top side. Look at that bot lane though. We've got Arky down on the bot side versus TheShy. Could very well be a dive looking to be prepped, but on this top side, Jiejie not really in a position to do the same thing as is actually ppgod. And this is a bit similar to game number 1, where we had this little bit of time where we got AD carry farming solo down in the bot lane, and up on this top side, quite a difficult experience for our top laners.
There you go. Look at that. 100 games in the LPL for Leave. I'd say,
nice. Well,
it's crazy that he's on 100 games already when you think about his kind of rough track record in terms of like games played, being subbed out on EDG, being subbed back in, all the drama and stuff around him, now bumping to different teams. It's been really interesting on the journey, but again, you see the little moments. You're like, this guy has got it. If he can keep his head in the game and keep down, it's been really impressive to see. So congratulations to Leave, 100 games.
Yeah, it's a big milestone for any player, really. So good to see that he's now, broached that. And let's hope to see some success with this NIP roster. Already had 1 game's worth of success, but Need to see that little bit more. I think that taking the scalp of IG early on would certainly do a good work for the NIP roster as a whole.
Oh, he canceled an auto attack. It's fine. They go back. Oh, top lane. Meiko flashes out into the bush at the exact time he needed to. Rookie
oh my god, it's everywhere.
Transition. Everybody's fighting. Oh, he bounced it. Oh my goodness. And there you go. He got the damage down, and Jiejie now under threat from Aki. And you have a flash immediately from Jiejie. He's going to get sped up by the Scuttle Crab there, but ppgod has the ankle. He's not going to go for it.
Yeah, just not quite enough movement speed there, and didn't have the flash to close that gap, but really everywhere on the map, just suddenly rather, turning in favor of NIP. That top lane, flash burned by Meiko. Bot lane, we're seeing TheShy get forced out. It has to take an early-ish recall as Leave is forcing him out of that laning phase. So, despite the fact that the gold lead may not be particularly abundant, only 500 at this stage, really all of the momentum, it feels like, in favor of NIP.
All right, we got to see how this kicked off, though. Rookie goes a little bit aggressive on his path back to the lane, but just not expecting that Aki was there.
Flash root comes in, flash to connect on the stun as well. And this is dark from Rookie, or from Doinb actually. Throws the Q, and it's a good dodge from Rookie. But unfortunately, the flux bounced onto Jiejie. And then that, in turn, when the overload came through, bounced right back onto Rookie. A little bit unfortunate, but I think ultimately Rookie's going to die there anyway. It might just take them a little bit longer. So the outcome is the same.
Doinb's like, who needs a 2024 champion when I can bring back the old school, the old style when I used to play. He remembers it when he was playing last time around in 2022. Fun to see Rookie and him go back at it again. You have to remember the last time Doinb was in the league was that LNG Miracle run in 2021, 2022, and where they beat Rookie 2 times in a row in the playoffs to deny them Worlds. Now, Jiejie was looking topside. Rookie going to be aggressed again by Aki. Not going to have level 6 yet. Rookie does make it out alive there. Topside is getting a little spicy, but grubs are on the table now.
Yeah, it's getting nicely contested, actually. Jiejie dodges the knock up there with his spell shield, and that means that he's able to get out, but now they need to get NIP back in. This is a big wave that Leave won't want to sacrifice. He's going to miss some CS on it, but as long as he catches the majority of the experience, that's what he'll be looking for. Level 6 in for Doinb and for Rookie, so those mid lane ultis could be very impactful. Level 6 is across the board elsewhere, not really being hit.
Is NIP going to contest this one? This might be the most grubs that IG get in an entire series, or at least so far in the series, as it has been NIP dominated. You do have Leave coming down, though. They're going to take the engage, though. No level 6s except for these mid laners. There is the in-between worlds, but Aki is already down before he even gets the damage on because Meiko claims the kill. Meiko also claims a grub, and Meiko's looking for an MVP this game, apparently.
He's the jungler. He's the AD carry. He's doing it all for his team right now. But Leave...
Go AD right now.
Relatively disrespectful here.
Oh no, Leave gonna use the killer instinct to get away, but does he actually survive this one? Yes, he does. So he makes it out alive, didn't have to burn too much, but did have to burn that killer instinct.
So I like the idea from NIP to begin this all off. Leave goes back to that top lane, catches the wave, but then stays in the top lane, trying to get level 6 off a creep, thinking maybe that can be the difference in the fight. But the way that it plays out, IG just collapse on the 3-man, and they aren't able to make anything that gives Kaisa an in. They don't have any CC to set up. It's really tricky to get the level 6 AD carry into this fight. Aki steps forward thinking he can try and find a smite, but a great polymorph. He's not able to really do anything, and despite the fact that that realm warp comes in, it is unfortunately just a bit too late, and the ignite was just enough to take him down.
Good combination of the pieces, at least, of IG, but also just awareness on the map, like moving and transitioning right after that towards topside where Leave was a little bit overextended. It's about the little things that happen after the big moments in a lot of these games. We do have Dragon coming up, at least potentially on the board for contesting, because it has been up for a little while, but both teams are now moving towards the spot side and would be a step in the right direction towards those feats of strength.
No, absolutely. And that's certainly something that these teams that, well, so far, I don't think they've got this big impact on the game, but it incentivizes these fights. And I think that's what the important part about feats of strength is, that actually, there's a lot of discussion. The boot upgrades aren't particularly great, But when you get to take these fights and when you're looking at, you know, hyper late game as well, having that extra bonus of tier 3 boots can be pretty important. But also just making sure that you're being at the right objective on the right time can begin to make snowballs happen that little bit sooner, just because you're incentivized to fight for things that you otherwise might not have done.
Yeah, very true. I think the abundance of objectives and things to fight around has been so fun to watch, at least at the pro level. In the lower level, it feels really chaotic and hard to get a grasp on. But at the competitive level so far, like when we were watching the LPL, when we saw the LEC, you know, things like that, it's been really fun to see how the teams are picking apart the actual map state of things. Now, Jiejie looking up top. He's got Paranoia. Maybe looking for a little bit of an angle onto a level 5 ppgod. Still waiting to get that level 6, and actually still pretty far away from it. That's a big support level gap.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we're not seeing more aggression out of IG currently. Maybe just waiting for this wave to get under the turret, but there's nobody around, and the mid laners are tracking each other, moving up at the same time. But despite all of that, looks like IG just quite happy to protect Gala and Meiko as they look to take plates.
Hey, that's the game plan. That's what we said from draft. Just protect Gala. Just protect Gala, please. We'll
and that's exactly it.
Oh,
okay. Attempted tempo ulti from Gala. Didn't quite make it work.
Gotta play for tempo, you know?
Exactly. The thing that we need to talk about for these compositions, though, is that if this game does reach, 30, 40 minutes, if Gala makes it to 3-4 items, expectation is that he's not going to die, because we've got so much protection in Meiko innately. Paranoia as well is going to do so much work at sort of thwarting any engages that NIP look to put down, because yes, they can try to engage, but as soon as those lights go off, it becomes so much harder to get the rest of the team involved.
Yeah, and that's where I look to leave to have good team fight positioning later on, Doinb to have consistent damage, but more so Aki. I mean, if they can find these resets, that will be the difference maker for NIP in a lot of these fights, even with some of these scaling nature and things that IG have going for them. So always a little bit of a contested setup here when we get to these fights, and with these grubs coming up and with Aki on that side with Jiejie, it's going to be a fight to the death, I'm sure.
TheShy attempting to sort of hold this wave outside the turret, not quite successful in doing so as it just barely crashes in. But second set of grubs rather has spawned in. This time it's NIP who are first to the punch, as we can see Meiko and Gala walking back out from base. And, well, there we go. A little cheeky snipe there from Jiejie.
That's 4 grubs and they just back away.
It's 5 and 6 as well, baby.
Smite. Oh my god. I actually cannot believe they just gave up those grubs completely. Now maybe looking at Rookie though, mid lane. Could be. Oh, he has a ward though. And so now they actually try to transition back, but it's too little too late. All the grubs are gone. Grub again has struck the rift again.
Okay, so for IG, this game going very well to begin with, and the small realm warp.
There you go, bringing back the classic strats, but it wasn't enough because that is a wild growth, but it maybe was enough on the follow-up, and there you go. We get the reset already for Aki. Jiejie and Gala trying to get away from the team fight, but there's 4 members of NIP on top side, and they strike well.
Yes, look what's happening in the mid lane then. Obviously, Rookie didn't make his way up to this top side. He pushes in the wave, is going to be able to secure a couple of plates in response for a kill onto Meiko. Not the worst thing in the world for IG, getting a little bit of gold onto their mid laner, and if that plate does go into Rookie's back pocket, as it does, and that's actually going to be very beneficial for the IG mid laner. About a net neutral trade, it feels like, for our mids overall, and Rookie, as you can see, just a little bit up in gold over that Ryze.
Aurora will have, I feel like, a little bit more teamfight impact than the Ryze does, even with kind of the AoE nature of Ryze. Aurora is ridiculous if you get in the right position, and I expect Rookie to do so. Jiejie will catch Shanji, or at least be caught by Shanji in the jungle. Does get feared away. That's a 2-level difference between the solo laner and the jungle. Gala trying to get more plates on top side. They have about a minute to go for the rest of those plates, maybe getting a little bit more gold for Gala as we hit first items for a couple members.
Yeah, so experimental hex plate. I'm not quite sure how many H's or E's it begins with, but it's a really good Nocturne item. It's Nocturne and Olaf coded, so that when you press your ult, you get that attack speed built in. You press your ulti pretty much immediately. You're incentivized to go straight in on the darkness so that you can get that injection of attack speed and almost become an assassin with this item. I do want to quickly touch on the fact that we've got this little bit of a downtime right now, Mazel, where we're probably going to see Gala move into this mid lane to keep him nice and safe and protected, keep that farm coming in as a steady stream. As this best of 5, the expectation coming into today and coming into Group D is that these are our top 2 teams from the group. So far, they've shown that they can go blow for blow with each other, but being able to come out of your group as the top seed makes a statement to the rest of playoffs.
No, it absolutely does. And the fact that only the top 2 get out, as you talked about it, they already are losing this fight here. Jiejie cannot go over the wall there, and or at least decides not to. They lose 2 members quickly to NIP's strike, and they lose the dragon as well.
No, and that means that that's 2 feats of strength for 2 overall. So we're waiting for, or rather, objectives. I have to find a better way of differentiating feats of strength and the objective bit for feats of strength. But they get 2 objectives working their way towards the overall marker. So they're 2 for 2 currently. That first turret could end up being broken open in the top side by IG. Feels like that's what they were working towards with Gala and Meiko for the most part, but they've sort of swapped away from that. You do get to see the power that this Viego Rakan will have in team fights. Meiko charmed, knocked up, and taken out in the same amount of time it takes for him to come out of CC. And then Jiejie caught by the stolen polymorph. Means that he can't flash over that wall. And now TheShy in trouble down in the bot lane.
This was
Shanji
R1 Renekton, by the way. Just throwing the gauntlet on the table and making it sing. As he does put pressure on TheShy. TheShy does not have TP. He has to stay down here. And Viego on his way. Aki looking to punish, but maybe just going for a back.
Rookie. Yeah, so there's a little bit of shadowing coming through as well. Rookie making his way down to this bot side just in case there was any dive. But what this has done is obviously bled into how the entirety of the rest of the map is going to have to play out. Now, Rookie, he's either going to get to TP up to the top side, or they're going to have to transition all of their pieces up 1 rung. So Gala Meiko go into the top lane, allow Rookie to farm a wave in the mid lane. This is Rookie makes his way back down to the bot side. Shanji caught by the initial Q, but yeah.
Maybe. Okay, in between worlds, gonna be popped. The 2-fold hex, pull it back.
Wow.
1 auto attack to finish it off. Bunny killing Croc. I don't think I've ever seen that in any of my animal books.
That just shows how little I value Aurora, because I thought Shanji was absolutely fine, and clearly with the flash available, so did he. Didn't end up burning that summoner spell and ends up falling to Rookie once again in that second game of top versus IG. It was Rookie's Aurora that kept them in the game for so long. And after such a sort of devastating fight, maybe it's going to be that again.
Oh, TheShy. He's going to get the heartbreaker there. Here comes Jiejie to save his life. They're going to need to try to take the fight after, though, but you have ppgod coming down the rings. You get the CC stun, but TheShy going for the counter-strike. Gets 2, gets quickness, though. It gets locked down. Here you go, ppgod! Going ham, call him Speed Racer. They're going to go for the turret, too. Heartbreaker out. Aki goes down. The wind-up for the turret being so much stronger now, and the turret goes down in mid lane. So IG will claim that one.
Okay, that's a very devastating interaction on the top side there for Aki that costs him his life. And if we get a replay, I'll be sure to point it out. But first brick goes down in the mid lane. It's a trade of that turret. They do get a couple of kills in the top side.
Okay, Gala. He wants to fight back. Leave. You bit off a little bit more than you can chew. Pull back, and Gala takes the shot.
Yep, takes a 1 versus 1. Unfortunately, Meiko, more than just the sum of its parts, able to walk in. Polymorph has that ulti as well, and despite the cleanse from Leave, not quite enough to get him out to safety nor to win that 1 versus 1. Gala now very, very strong on this Jinx.
I mean, he's up 20 CS. He's almost on 2 items as well. And we were talking about late game Gala.
No, we absolutely were. And you know, making him get there even sooner is going to be really, really scary. So this fight starts off quite close as the call in from IG is to try and fight Jiejie. Thinks about it for a little bit, and as soon as that fear lands, you think, oh, maybe I've got to run away from this Ryze. Now, watch the Realm Warp in particular. That's the thing that costs Aki his life on the back of this. So you can see, okay, we're thinking about going in. But where have my minions gone, says Aki. Where are my minions?
Oh, no. Doinb.
They've been Realm-warped away.
Done? Oh,
overall, though, still a very good play.
And this is how Gala got the fight from Lee. Lee just thinks that Meiko is not with him, I guess. He did end up seeing him after the blue trinket got popped. But there you go. We're right back into it, though. The LPL never quits. TP coming in. That's going to be Shanji joining the fight. Rift Herald going down low. Jiejie around the corner, but he puts everything to sleep. He goes dark, and there you go. The rookie gets engaged on. It just goes down. TheShy is trying to tank up the front line right now as this Jax. He does do a really good job of it going right back into Aki, though. The Rift Herald already had gone down, but IG want to continue fighting. They don't have a turret up here, and yeah, I mean, you're just going to get picked up. TheShy gives the resets over, and NIP are putting the work in and getting paid.
And just the small things, the spacing from NIP is beautiful. They find an initial engage onto Rookie, take him down in a second, and then the 5v4 afterwards. I'm sat there watching thinking Gala can go crazy here, but he's just not in range. The rest of his team are just a little too eager to bite off more than they can chew. And it's Rookie, initially isolated, ultis in the face of Shanji, gets stunned up, and again, the layering of CC is perfect, even through the wild growth, not quite able to do enough. And if Gala had found a crit onto ppgod there, this entire fight changes. You get a reset on the Jinx and the fight becomes completely different. But TheShy, again, face checks and he's just stepping outside of the Jinx's range. Gala can't do damage here, so there's not anything that can be given as a response. It's just the small things about how to play this team fight that NIP understood better.
These were the kinds of things we were wary of with TheShy. Just a little bit of overzealousness, maybe a little bit of catch out. And he unfortunately pays the price, and his team does there as well, just pulling the fight a little bit too far. But it is something to say that NIP are capitalizing so beautifully. I mean, it's 20 minutes in. They're on soul point already. We've seen multiple fights go their way, and it's been some really good combinations from Aki. Like, Aki, these last two games, has been on another level.
Yeah, 100% kill participation on the Viego once again, so right place, right time, and seemingly the only part of this NIP roster that is making everything happen in this game. You know, shout out to ppgod for helping out in certain instances, but it's not the 100% KP that we're seeing from our jungler here. As I do want to quickly comment on TheShy's build path with Fimbulwinter and Iceborne Gauntlet. This isn't that same sort of ruinous Jax that you expect to see moving into the late game. It's very much more geared toward being a tank, being a threat in the front line. And I think that kind of gears more towards protecting Gala, which should be their goal. But it does remove some of Jax's identity that we've known from him as one of those sort of squishy killers, let's say.
He does have the Rift Heralds, maybe looking for a little bit of side lane play as well. But, man, the fact that... the fact that we're getting such back and forth, but we're also getting some of the setups that we were talking about going into this one, like TheShy getting caught, you know, Leave not having that great of team fight positioning. We've seen a little bit of adaptation within this game of all of that, and I think it's really fun to see early on in the season, as well as this being, you know, the first games these two, or the first series these two teams are playing.
It just makes Mazel, the rest of the LPL, sound like it's going to be very entertaining, to be honest. It's exactly what we're here for, right? All of these stories that are already beginning to thrive, beginning to develop. Just something that, you know, fans, players, watchers of the LPL can begin to look forward to. What I wouldn't be looking forward to if I was NIP is giving over an Atacon completely for free, and fortunately enough, it looks like they're going to try and stop it. This is a good position
for them. Yeah, I always feel like, at least so far in the LPL, the team that starts it is always at the lesser point of things, because Atacon does so much damage. We're going to get the setup now. TheShy has TP'd. IG going to restart up the Atacon. They were looking for a bit of a flank, but it's Leave going in. Rookie's right on top of him. You got to watch out, though. TheShy's right behind them. They get the engage. Jiejie goes on the backline. Leave. He finds him. Those heat-seeking missiles, but it's NIP trying to fight back. Gala going low. Gala going down. Doinb is looking to bring back those iterations of 2022, and NIP are looking about bringing the ruination of IG. TheShy goes in by himself. TheShy is all alone, and under the likes of Atacon, he will give his soul.
So 4-4-2 in the fight. The Atacon goes to NIP. And I thought the fact that they picked off Leave meant that IG were going to win this fight. Anything but that, though. Doinb, Shanji, and Aki sync up beautifully. They isolate the bot lane duo and tear them apart. The Atacon goes on to the 4 important members of NIP. ppgod not quite alive when that one came through. But this fight, once again, Doinb, he's marking the dive from the Jax. And as soon as Leaf goes in here, you think, okay, this looks like it could be a bit of a disaster for NIP. Rookie chunks down the bot lane very, very quickly. And Jiejie executes Leaf where he stands. But Doinb, Realm Warp into the backline, ppgod onto the Jinx. The flash away is matched by Doinb's flash, and it's just the Ryze show from here. Shades of 2022 back for Doinb as he tears the bot lane apart.
I think the Avengers just forgot who their enemy was. They forgot about Dr. Doinb as he just comes through so clutch there. Look at the hype. You love to see it.
There you go.
I mean, this was going to be a completely different roster in terms of the mid lane, in terms of the show power that this team was going to have. And as soon as Doinb was announced, as soon as those leaks started coming through, people started getting hype about this team. And I think NIP now showing us a serious contention over IG has a lot of backing to make damage done in the LPL this year.
Absolutely. And this is a team that now, if you take IG down, you all of a sudden have that massive bounty on your head that, hold on, these are the guys that beat IG, the super roster, the super team that got splashed out for. Meanwhile, in the game, IG did a very good little bit of map movement here. They've avoided the Articon, and they've taken 2 tier 2 turrets. So even though NIP had that big buff, they found themselves losing out on the turret game. Importantly, that Drake is about to respawn, and it's soul for NIP. They get to fight for the soul with the Otacon buff, and IG are going to have to play this exquisitely if they want any chance at stopping it.
Oh, Aki, he's going for the play. They still have that reset, like you were saying. Dragon up. Ocean Soul would be so massive for NIP. Jiejie may be going for a steal here, but looking to contest as much as possible. ppgod being the little body blocker here. Dragon's already going down. Paranoid popped. He's in there, and it's going to go to Aki. Ocean Soul completed, and it's going to be IG's Soul that is claimed by NIP. TheShy going out with a nice little leap strike, but he's going to be chased down anyways. Rookie can't really do much, but watch his former world championship friend be brought down to the dirt. It's going to be Baron for NIP too.
Articon and Ocean Soul means that IG stand absolutely no chance in that fight. IG, with just Rookie and Meiko, can do nothing to defend this Baron going down. And NIP, 2 massive buffs at their back pocket. And now, a lot of gold on the map still to be claimed. Mid, not even knocked down that tier 1. The tier 2 in the top lane, ready to be taken out as well. A replay for you of how all of this breaks down. And once again, the 50-50 comes through. It's one out on by Arki, but Realm Warp into the back for ppgod, straight on top of Gala. He's taken down, and the fight is over.
Dude, Doinb is masterfully piloting this Ryze right now. Feels like we're back to the glory days of this man. It's been a while since we've seen him on the Rift, years in fact, but it is a pleasure to see him do his thing. I remember watching Legends Cup, and it was so fun to watch him still working it, still playing Zeds and things like that, and still trying to go mechanically sound. And it's nice to see him competing and bringing this team up with him. And another person that, you know, maybe we were talking about Jiejie and Rookie and this powerful combo, but the combo of Aki and Doinb has been incredible watch as well. Aki was somebody who was literally getting subbed out last year and was being talked about being dropped in a lot of the season, and this guy is bringing some consistency to this series.
And I mean, exactly at the right time as well, after game number 1 was such a wash. Although another fight may be breaking out here. TheShy looking to protect some vision, but yeah, remember, Jiejie absolutely ran game number 1. 15-0-4 on the Xin Zhao, was a monster, but has not looked anywhere near the same since, and it has been the Aki show since then.
It has been, and now we're going to look at the NIP show on bot side as they take the turret. They're looking at the inhib now as well. They still have the Baron buff up for a little while. They're getting pushed in mid lane from Shanji. Going for the engage goes ppgod. They got a lot of health taken off TheShy, but it's not going to be just enough. He is that tank build like you were talking about. They do get that tier 2 in mid lane, though. Jiejie is the one that's over here. He does have paranoia. If IG want to pull the trigger, he's in range. It looks like NIP realized that, will back away, try to use some of this siege potential for themselves. They still have the Baron going.
And there's still so much of a window for NIP to be looking for these fights. And even in a 5 versus 5 where you'd expect Jinx to be reigning supreme, Gala just too far behind the curve. We're so far away from finishing Infinity Edge. We've not even started it yet. And at this point in the game, it's just not enough. You need the anti-heal to be able to get away from some of that Ocean Soul healing. You need the other 2 first items that he's picked up for himself just to be able to do any form of attacking at all. But no Infinity Edge absolutely sucks. And now he's working his way towards it as best as possible. We're about 3,000 gold away, a little bit under. And if you can get that before the game ends, then there's a chance. But the way NIP are going with Soul at their back, with Baron taking down an inhibitor in the bot lane, it's definitely going to be tricky.
It is indeed. And GA just completed 3rd item for Shanji. He says it's time to end this game. Doesn't want to let it go any further here. As level 16 completed for Aki as well. We're going to get the redeploy from NIP towards this top side to try to get the counterbalancing forces of these super minions going. TheShy will have to stay down there if they don't want to give the game-ending push, but maybe a response here. Doinb going to have his Banshees pop there, at least the Veil. And now, Rookie trying to back away from this one, but they get the lockdown on Jiejie. Lucky he's pretty tanky now, but the siege is coming, and IG need an answer.
Yeah, these tier 2 turrets are ones that you don't want to give up because they're a lot of gold, as Shanji absolutely owns that cannon minion with the stun. Make sure that that one gets taken down. The tier 2s, you know, they're the ones that you want to be trying to defend if you're IG here because they've got all of that gold locked in them, but equally they're the ones that are super hard to try and defend because you don't have the sort of power and safety of your base to make sure that you can sort of retreat safely. All told, though, that Baron buff nets an inhibitor down on the bot side for NIP, and we've got 2 minutes before that Baron respawns. Item breakpoints that we're looking towards. Can Rookie finish off that Rabadon's death cap? If you can get there in time, then maybe there's a world where we can see some real damage be done by the Aurora in the mid lane. And then same to be said for Gala's Infinity Edge, but we already know that that is a really tough task to try and get Gala to that breakpoint. You have to funnel every wave, every lane, all of the jungle camps into him, and even then it still might not be enough. Be curious to see how much he's got in his back pocket, but the 1 minute on the Elder, it's a close run thing.
All right, Rude, that 1 minute, that is do or die time for IG. You got a lot going against you. The Ocean Soul helping with that potentially sustained fight setup. But how do you get the picture-perfect setup for IG? How do you find an entrance?
So it's about marking A, Doinb, and B, ppgod, which is weird, because either of those find access to Gala. They either have the damage or they have the CC to set up getting in there. I think Polymorph on Meiko needs to be saved for whoever gets close to Gala in the first place. And then if if it's just one person, maybe that's good enough. But it's reliant on TheShy as well. I'm not sure if he's been diving into the backline and trying to take down Leave or not, but he might actually have to augment his playstyle into just sitting on Gala and stunning whoever goes there.
All right, we'll see if that maintains the game plan here for IG. NIP seem like they have the right hand to go here. They are going to keep pressure on the entrances to this dragon setup. I would say that it might be a little bit dicey if they started up. Jiejie with the paranoia could always get an invade into the fight. We'll see them TP bot side, though.
It's already too late. Here comes Realm Warp. It's behind them.
They got 2. They're finding him. They got the wild growth out onto Gala. Gala getting chased down. Doinb running in. Super carry. Doinb. He's looking for the combo, and he gets him. Put your hands together for the man who's back in the mid lane. As he's still kicking, he's still going, and he's bringing back the memories of old. Doinb is here.
And he's here to party, Mazel. 2-1 for NIP. Doinb putting the team on his back with a 6-0-10 performance. Realm Warps in the backline, takes down Gala and takes game 3.
My super carry right there. That is absolute storybook stuff. And a 2-1 setup for NIP. You know he's feeling it. You know that momentum is there. Look at that smile on his face.
Ah, my word. We are 1 game away from the rookie kryptonite continuing.
What year are we in, man? What year are we in?
NIP taking this scalp would be massive. IG had a early exit from Demacia Cup. If they come out of this group second, then it's even more devastating for them, and you really start to have to start asking those questions about, was it worth all of this investment? IG, a team that had so frequently been a team to promote and to promote from within and build up these players within a franchise, they scrapped it this year. They scrapped it for 2025 and decided that going big was the way that they should go, when ultimately what we've seen so far is they may end up going home.
It's so crazy. I mean, even if you lose one best of 5, it puts you in such a bad position in the group. Obviously, since we've already had one game or one series played for this group, it changes things a little bit. But my goodness, you do not want to go down, especially as a team like IG. I couldn't even imagine if things pan out that way. But this is also a conversation that we have to talk about the brass tacks. What the hell changed from game number 1, where you had a 15-0 Jiejie and a rookie who's popping off in mid lane, to what we've seen these last 2 games, where in a lot of cases it doesn't even look close.
And it feels like Doinb is just giving more to the team as well. The change up from Akali to now I've got supportive style that I can play, where I'm full tank Jace, feels more like that. You've got Ryze who can make those plays, importantly. And I think that having that comfort has enabled Aki, because Aki, like you've mentioned, has just been monstrous in games 2 and 3. And I think that the setup that he's been given, the power that comes from this sort of mid-jungle duo. I want to throw ppgod in there as well. That supporting band of sort of 3 people who are making all of these plays has been incredible to see.
I'm so happy. Aki is a guy who I've always really appreciated. Again, I told you, like, one of the first people I casted was Aki, and he was playing Zed jungle when nobody was playing Assassin's jungle. It was so cool to see. And all these years later, it just feels reassuring to finally see him be stuck with, first of all, by NIP, because he had a little bit of a stint of being subbed out for NIP after his time on OMG, but now they're kind of sticking with him, and he's showing off and paying dividends. So his combination with Doinb, it's looking really good, and maybe Doinb's communication enables him in a lot of ways, but those 2 guys, they are cooking right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, we were sort of coming into this series, we were obviously looking toward this mid lane matchup. Our secondary was thinking, oh, maybe TheShy is going to have a bit of a time of things in the laning phase up against Shanji. That really hasn't happened at all. I think credit to Shanji as well for largely neutering TheShy. We haven't really seen either one of them be particularly present, but TheShy is this top laner who historically could have such massive upsides, that the fact that he has been just quiet is such a testament to what Shanji has been able to accomplish, just keeping him down in the laning phase.
It's so hard to say what's going wrong in that case, right? Because obviously we had the Karma game, which I think you could just say is wrong in general. But as a whole, we have seen the Cassante in game number 1, which actually was pretty good. We were talking about him and propping him up a lot from that one. But this is a Jax that wasn't necessarily the normal Jax. It was more that tank Jax because of the setup they had with the composition. So TheShy is obviously giving up some of his stake to help the team. And to be honest, it's not working in all that case. So I would like for them to take a little bit of a page out of NIP's book and show us a little bit of comfort and go for things that are going to be more played towards the center of these stars that are on this team.
Yeah, we're getting into murky waters here, Lennon, because we're getting very close to saying, yeah, let's put Shy on a split pusher. Let's send him to the side lane and see how he gets on. But you are exactly right. I completely agree with you that TheShy just needs a little bit more being either given to him or entrusted with him even in that drafting phase. But we get to take a look at those post-game stats, and they make for great reading, because Aki, again, highlight that we've had for this entire team, right up there with that kill participation. And it feels right that Doinb and ppgod share their KP. They may not have been the same kills, but the stats will show that they had the same amount, and that feels right. Truly.
Man, 32% damage done on the Ryze, bringing back nostalgia and kicking rookies' teeth in with it. You think about the times that we had already highlighted so much, but literally the last time we saw these 2 guys play was that 2022 run in the playoffs where Doinb beat Rookie in the 3rd round and also the regional qualifiers. And after that first game, it has been Doinb favored all along. So really love to see it. Now we got to think who gets the MVP in this one. I think there's a lot of cases, but it's got to be super carry, man. I like the fact they zoomed in on the camera. They got like the crowd was going wild. Like it has to be Doinb 100%.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Aki, excellent early game. 100% kill participation for the most part of those early stages. Kept the team going and set them up quite nicely. But the reason they won that game was realm warp after realm warp after realm warp getting Gala and taking him out, whether it was Doinb sending just ppgod, whether it was Doinb going with him for a little bit of a ride. Either way, it was the realm up that set everything up, and I think that you could watch Ryze plays in the top of Challenger, you wouldn't be seeing realm warps like this consistently, and Doinb found at least 3 of them in this game alone.
Yeah, I mean, that's the craziest part. It started off in that like top lane play, but then it was consistently just, even the one where he just sent ppgod into the backline, right? like just send it, bro. See what happens. And hey, it worked out for them in that case. But it shows that flexibility in mid lane, and now we're getting to a game 4 where we're gonna have a ton of bans, 50 bans going through at the end of things here, and Fearless really does matter in these kinds of setups. We've seen a lot of power picks left off the table, or at least taken.
And this is again where having players with those deep pockets of champions is going to start to benefit you, where your players like Doinb, who can pull out a little bit of a unique pick like a Ryze, has now left open for more generic, we'll say quote-unquote generic things that can be pulled out into a game 4 if they want it. I think the day that Doinb plays Ahri is the day that we all sort of, a tear rolls down our face, right? But it's the type of thing that is still open in this series.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, we've already gotten the Nautilus, so there's no more Nautilus mid, there's no Nocturne mid. We'll see what we get. It is Doinb with his fingers crossed and absolutely working on IG. 6-0-10 for the NIP superstar mid laner.
Yeah, 32% damage share. You highlighted it in the stats, but it is worth saying again just how incredibly much that is, right? There are 5 people on your team. If everybody's doing the same amount of damage, you get 20%. He's doing like that and half of that again. So just an incredible amount of work being done by Doinb in damage as well as in setup, because he was the reason that they were setting up kills onto Gala as well.
Yeah, he absolutely was. I mean, the little lockdown, like that last play where he's just super, like, I'm just imagining Ryze with like the fast fingers, like just running at him. He's just running away. We got Michael Myers or what in here, but it's actually crazy how Doinb completely flipped a lot of those fights on their heads, and obviously takes a lot with the team. But glad to see in his first series back at the LPL in years, he earns an MVP. And we're off to the right start for NIP. Now, that does mean they are on match point. IG need everything they can get to try to stave off the darkness and bring us to a silver scrapes. We'll see if we get that on the other side of a break. We'll see you there.